Hey guys, Choi here. So another blade review, guys, for you today. This one is a pretty wicked blade, I have to say. Uh, First of all, shout out to my brother, John, in the other side of the mountains. John, how are you, brother? Hopefully everything's well. Um, Super great brother of mine, and thanks to him, I managed to acquire this. And this is by far, this is my second time acquiring a Perrin PPT. Uh, I'm gonna butcher this. So there's a Perrin. God damn it, there's another gentleman's name and there's another lady's name, and it's a PPT stands for the last name initials of these folks. They combined this together. And that's what I remember about it. It was like over, Jesus Christ, it's almost a decade ago. So, well, plus decade plus. But these were one of the very first Spydercos that were being manufactured out of Taichung, Taiwan. Now, reason why back then when I got it, because I'm a huge fan of Mr. Perrin's work. Bonjour, Mr. Perrin, how are you? Love your blades, but reason why the story goes back then I had it, and I ended up trading this with a brother of ours who actually was Ellie brother of ours, and I think he still has it. He loves it. But for me, reason why I didn't like it as much back then was the following. It's the manner of deployment. And this thing, it doesn't deploy well. I'm going to be honest. This thing uses, not a lot of people mistake this, but this is actually, it's a liner lock, but I believe it's called a Reeves liner lock, which is very similar to more closer in line with a titanium liner lock than like a frame locks than actual liner locks. Because of this, where the liner is positioned, it makes it very difficult to actually get a really fast deployment using a lot of the techniques that back then that I used to use, which is shoot the marble, which is near impossible because the liner gets in the way. And if you try to do the Spidey drop, good luck with that because it's really difficult. You barely get a half the Spidey hole to grip on. Other than that, what I do love about this, even back then and now, is this was one of the very first folders with sculpted G10s. And I absolutely adored that. Just love it. CPMS 30V, and the blade is, I love how thin it was. It was around the time that I was using a lot of blades that was very thin because it's a lot of people said, well, oh, dude, that's not going to survive if you ever use it for combat situations. Generally, you have to understand, knives, I use it for cutting. And when the blade is so thick, it makes fine cutting, very difficult. And although my profession is an edge weapons instructor, 99% of the times I use blades for generally cutting ropes like paracord or hemp cords for when I'm wrapping blades and stuff. So this wasn't really used for combat purposes. And I always tell everyone who I meet, when you purchase a knife, your first priority should be for utilitarian. Combat's gonna be like way on the bottom of why you're getting a knife or you're carrying a knife. So on that front, that's the reason why I ended up trading my old one out. And two, it was one of the very first Spyderco that I saw with this feature that now you'll only find it in a customized Spyderco by using parts from 5x5 customs, which is, I love how this thing once it goes in the pocket, guys, it's a deep carry. There's no, you rarely see it, and only accessing it, that little lanyard that's on there, and you guys know I do my custom lanyards. I actually don't mind this. It actually allows for easy gripping, but deployment wise, that's a different story. It's a very difficult to flick out. I actually contacted the 5x5 folks the other day asking if they actually have one of their, what they call their pocket deployment, so it could make this into wave. I'm not quite sure if it'll fit because, again, that little liner, Jesus Christ, not much room to place that thing, but if it does work, that would make this one hell of a cool folder to carry because that would allow for wave-like deployment. So stay tuned on that. But overall, I'll tell you right now, what I do like about this blade is Your grip wise, a lot of people make the mistake of just gripping it here and calling it good. But this, if you grip a little bit higher up, you're actually holding onto the blade. So it's actually more secure when you do a lot of different type of movement or any of the cutting techniques that you do in Filipino martial arts. Actually, this is a good time, so I'm going to share with you guys a couple different basic cutting techniques from FMA, because I actually recently met a gentleman who I went in to do some gunsmithing for, and at a shop, and just doing stippling work. And the gentleman who had a customer there said he does FMA, but when I had, okay man, throw me an angle one, and he could not understand what the fuck. So he has his background in modern arnis, so I'm kind of shocked that he didn't know this. Or he might be just full of shit, but you never know. Stolen valor goes in many different ways. So in FMA, generally when we say universal angle 1 through 12, it's the following. Angle 1, angle 2, angle 3, angle 4, angle 5, angle 6, angle 7, angle 8, angle 9, angle 10, angle 11, angle 12. So that's your basic universal angle 1 through 12. Everyone should know this if you do any type of Filipino martial art, at least angle 1 and angle 2, because if you don't, I still remember one particular seminar that I did back in 2008, and I had, this was a local military seminar. I thought everybody was, because they were previously trained by a local FMA legend, I thought they actually had this down. So I had one of the lads, all right man, throw me an angle 1. And he threw me an angle 2 and whacking him dead center right in the hand. Because what was supposed to be a demonstration for deflection and for stripping, so kunsi yaga, he ended up throwing angle 2, so I just going into what we do in contradas. So that was an odd experience, and it's an important thing that you should know at least the basic angles. Otherwise, well, mistakes could happen in the middle of training, and it actually was good they ended up learning that instead, but still, you know, I didn't feel good, you know, whacking something and I didn't want to. Anyhow, so verdict on this is still to behold. Reason why is there's a lot of potential for this. It's a slow deployment blade. What I mean by that is there isn't that many ways to open this, and if you think that, well, why don't you just deploy it like Spidey deployment, like Spyderco. Problem with this, you have a more likely chance of dropping this on the ground than actually getting that into deployment and fully catch like you would normally with other blades, because you can't get much real estate on the hole due to the liner getting in the way. 3, that's the only bad thing I could say about this, guys, is I love this blade otherwise. Works great for, obviously, forward grip, and reason, oh, sorry I drifted out of the subject as always. The reason why I like my blades where you could actually grip onto the blade part, not just because of Filipino grip that Mr. Janich teaches. Shout out to Mr. Janich, how are you, sir? If you're watching this. And I like this because it gives me positive contact with the blades, so better alignment for fine detail works when need be, while also being more secure. Because I'm coming from that era still where we don't really fully trust the liners or any type of folding blades in general unless it's a balisong. So because of that, the old saying was, when all of us were carrying a Strider like SMF or SNG or PT even, is that Strider folders allowed us to carry and also deploy and use a blade while still having a positive contact because of a Choi or the top section being allowing us to actually have that grip and also making contact with the blade, so we don't have to worry about if the lock fails, we're still holding on to the, as long as we have positive grip on this, it's not going to collapse on our fingers. So that was one of the main reasons why I absolutely love this, and I still do like this blade. It's just that deployment, man, it's like, it sucks. I mean, I have to be honest, it's like deployment sucks with this shit. So it's gonna have to be, I'm gonna have to do some research and some modifications to make this work. But other than that, yeah, if you guys ever do find one, if I find the manage to fix this by putting in some sort of device to get the wave deployment done, this will be my everyday carry. I mean, I have no doubt about it. It's a freaking amazing blade. Now, a lot of you guys asked in the past regarding, well, my students at least asked, is the clip reversible? The answer is no, it's not reversible. But generally, when I'm carrying a folding knife, obviously if it's for law enforcement or my LEOs, I actually just tell them to carry a fucking fixed edge. I don't care. Tell them to carry a folding knife due to the fact that unless the department specifically states that you have to carry a folder, and that's a different story. But this, the D10 is so strong, it's not going to work. It's practically a new knife. Thanks again, John. I love this. But deployment, yeah, not much otherwise. But nevertheless, it's a great knife. So stay tuned to see if I could actually modify this to make it work. If it does, then, oh my God, this will be a sweet blade. Thanks for watching. You guys have a great day.